Dudes and dudettes, welcome to my face. How's it going today? Whatever time it is in your time zone. Yesterday, I released a song. I wanted to kind of talk about what the song's about because first off, someone asked me the story behind the song, and secondly, I feel like in a way it's something that could benefit society. Even though I'm not really that same person anymore as I was when I wrote the song. It's such a good song that I've kept playing it over the years. When I was around 23 years old, I was going through a ton of chaos in my life. My parents were on the verge of divorce. My mental health was just like gone. Like, I wasn't getting any sleep at night. I was staying up for like 3 or 4 days at a time. It's hard to put my mind back in this place because it's been a long time. This was over 10 years ago. Anyways, I wrote the song when I got out of the mental institution, but it was about my time in the mental institution. And one thing I can tell you about a mental institution is that anybody who tells you a story about when they were in the mental institution, you bet your ass you can believe them. If it sounds like it's something ridiculous that could never happen in real life, oh yes, your government would do that to you. Quick and happy to do it. Like, I went through some crazy things in there that to this day, it's just like, why would they put you through that? And I think they do it because if they can keep you crazy, they can keep making money off of you. It's a big business, you know. Every day they would throw on the same movie, Hellboy, but they would only throw on the first 15 minutes of it, and then you had to go to do another thing, basically. It took me about a month or 2 or 3. I think I was in there about 3 months. It took me about 3 months to realize the game. And the game is, and every mental institution has a different game. So the game at this particular institution was you have to be doing the same thing everyone else was doing. I'd been quit smoking for 5 years. If you go in there and you're doing what everybody else is doing and everybody else was smoking, everybody was outside in the smoking section, you need to be outside when everybody's smoking. That way, you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing, therefore a stable and contributing member to society. You don't have to drink the coffee, but you have to get the coffee with everybody else. If you don't like coffee, you still need to get in line and get the coffee every day. You need to get your pills when everybody else is getting their pills. You need to go through your group therapy. You need to do everything that everybody else is doing. If you don't do what everybody else is doing, you're seen as unfit to be a member of society. And it's going to increase your time in there the more you don't do what everybody else is doing. And you have to say the phrases like, you don't say, I'm doing great, you say, I'm doing well. You always have to say, I'm doing well. If you say you're doing bad, then you're depressed and you're unfit to be in society. If you're doing great, then you're doing too good and you're unfit to be in society. You need to say, I'm doing well at this particular mental institution. And I think they all have but in this particular one, Sunrise Canyon, that's the way it was at the time. I don't know if it's still that way, but that's what I went through in there. There were a lot of other things that were just like downright strange. Like, they were putting me on a lot of drugs that I could not function on. The drugs that were making me absolutely batshit insane. I had never had the urge to murder anybody in my life until they put me on Ativan. Me and Ativan don't mix. Ativan makes me violent. I tried to escape while I was on the Ativan, and it took about 6 different security guards tackling me and pinning me down to the ground, and they shot me up with something that knocked me out for 3 days. I remember I was starving when I woke up, and I don't think I ate for the first week of being in there. They didn't feed me because I was drugged up, passed out, and like just unable to function because of all the drugs they had me on. And the circumstances that got me in there, working graveyards, you know, I would come home to my parents fighting in the morning and I wouldn't be able to sleep because of it. You know, it was crazy because throughout my entire life, they had this seemingly perfect relationship. I had great parents, you know, I do. Like, my parents are great people. They did the best they could with what they had. We came from poverty. We excelled. My parents are living pretty large now, dude. Like, they're pretty rich people, and I've always been crazy, you know, but it's kept me from going insane for the most part. I have Asperger's syndrome, bipolar, ADHD, some schizophrenic tendencies and psychotic tendencies also. If I'm up too long, I kind of get delusional. That's what happened. Like, was not getting any sleep because I would come home to screaming, go to work, and they were screaming at me there, and I would go to school and I was failing. I was doing too much and not getting enough sleep because I was still trying to get through my college at the time. And person I really had to turn to was God. I mean, I had a couple friends at the time that I would call from there, but I was in there for 3 months, and I remember them doing a lot of really shady shit. I remember waking up in the middle of the night one time and looking over, and one of the nurses had a gas mask on and they were smoking weed out of it. And as soon as they saw that I was looking, they they were gone. With what the drugs they had me on, drugs they were forcing me to take, even though I didn't consent. I fought tooth and nail at first, but probably extended my stay, honestly. The things they had me on were only making things worse. And finally, after trying probably 17 to 20 different medications, they finally got me on one called Depakote. I could function on, but I felt like I was drunk all the time. At least functional and able to move throughout the hallway, do the things everybody else was doing when everybody else was doing the things, so I could be a functioning member of society and maybe they would let me out. It took 3 months for me to learn the game. You have to learn the game, you have to play the game, and you have to play the game well in order to get out of the mental institution. I'm a pretty stable person now. Like, I'm doing good for myself. Even despite having ADHD, bipolar, and autism, I'm a functioning member of society. Like, I mean, I'm not doing the same things everybody else is doing. I'm obviously doing a lot of art and a lot of music and trying to make myself better every day and working hard to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And while I had nobody to turn to, I was turning to God every day, and I got kind of hyper-religious because I was still kind of new to it. And I was preaching to a bunch of people on the street, thought it was the end of the world. I was wrong, and I was being too preachy, and I went about it in entirely the wrong way, and that got me ended up in a mental institution, you know? What I know that I needed at the time was I needed someone to talk to about what I was going through, and I needed to fucking sleep. And that's what the song I released yesterday is about. So go check it out. Jesus Christ is King. Jesus Christ is Lord. When I got out of there, it sucked because I quit smoking for 5 years, and I started again while I was in there because I had to pretend to be a functioning member of society. So I smoked for another 5 years, and I finally quit when I was 28 years old. I'm smoke-free, sober, and straight edge. Probably doing the best I've ever done in life. To be 100% honest, I'm alone now for the most part. Like, I mean, I got some friends that I got new friends, so things are starting to work out. God's really working things out in my life. When I finally got out of the mental institution, this Depakote, this heavy medication they got me on, I became an alcoholic for a little bit, maybe about 6 months, because like I had to get off the Depakote, which was making me feel super drunk all the time. So I figured I don't want to be addicted to this narcotic that they had me on. So let's drink a bunch of alcohol instead. That's at least legal, and I can wean myself off of it. And it was about the point that I started getting shakes in my hands, you know. I need to take a shot of whiskey when I first wake up in the morning. That's when I realized, okay, I need to slow down. And I think I did wean myself off eventually, like tapering. I still drank throughout my entire 20s, probably until it was about a couple years ago. I'll drink at like Christmas time with my dad, or when I'm around a group of people I really trust, that I'm really close to, that I'll have a couple beers with you. I don't seek it out, you know. I'm not judgmental in any way towards anybody who's been on drugs or who has drank throughout their life or is currently on drugs or going through mental health crises or whatever, because I completely understand. I've been there. That's the reason that I'm straight edge now, is because I've experienced these things, and it led me on a very bad path. And it's just now at 36 years old that, I mean, I feel like things could have taken off so much quicker than what they did in my life, but I had to go and make my mistakes. You know, we all got to go make our mistakes, but it took me a long time. So don't feel bad if things take you a while. Like, I mean, this is a growing and learning process. We're all in this together, and we need to all be in this together instead of being so divisive about little stupid shit that it's not even worth arguing about. All right. With all that being said, I think that's good. I love you all. Go check out the new song. It's on, the song is called Nobody Knows, SLOWCYDE. It'll be on Bandcamp in a few days. The new version of it will be on Bandcamp. The old version's on Bandcamp too, but I want you to hear the new version because, like, top tier mixing, mastering. I've been working hard. I don't use AI. I play everything. I do all the mixing and mastering myself. I went to college for music. I promise you it's good music. It's worth your time. Like, share, subscribe. High five.